Dr. Chinyere Almona, a seasoned corporate governance expert from Nigeria, has said that companies that excel at stakeholder engagement excel in business. This shows that it's important for an organization to engage with its stakeholders appropriately. But what does this look like from the point of view or the perspective of a vice chancellor of a leading university? Hi, my name is Jimmy Walabiechi, and you're welcome to Corporate Governance Africa, where we seek to promote good governance through film. In this video, we consider the important subject of engagement with stakeholders. We consider 5 important pillars for effective stakeholder engagement. The subject of engaging with stakeholders effectively is very important for every business owner, every board member, and even every company secretary. The reason is because the long-term success of an organization depends on the quality of relationships with those who are affected by its decisions. These are the stakeholders of that organization. According to King 4, the governing body or the board of directors or whatever body governs the organization should adopt a stakeholder-inclusive approach. In doing this, they should take into account the legitimate and reasonable needs, interests, and expectations of all the key stakeholders in pursuing the long-term best interests of the organization. To explore what good stakeholder engagement looks like in practice, I spoke to Professor Patrick Chamanywa, the Vice Chancellor of Uganda Matters University, to learn how he ensures that the university engages with its stakeholders effectively. But first, let's consider a brief background of Uganda Matters University. A brief background of Uganda Matters University. Uganda Matters University was established in 1993 by the Episcopal Conference of the Catholic Church of Uganda as a private faith-based institution of higher learning. It was named in honor of the Uganda martyrs who were killed for their faith between 1885 and 1887. The university's founding vision was to offer holistic education rooted in ethical and moral values, combining academic excellence with service to society. Since its founding, the Uganda Matters University has grown to include several campuses across Uganda, serving both local and international students. Governance at Uganda Matters University. The Vice Chancellor serves as the Chief Executive Officer of the university. The Vice Chancellor is overseen by the University Council. This University Council functions as the Board of Directors. The Vice Chancellor provides overall leadership, implements the Council's strategic decisions, and ensures effective management of academic and administrative affairs. The Vice Chancellor leads a senior management team comprised of 7 members. These include the Deputy Vice Chancellor, the Registrar, the person in charge of human resource at the university, the Chief Financial Officer, the Dean of Students, and the University Secretary. The University Council, which gives oversight over the Vice Chancellor and the senior management team of the university, has 17 members. Defining stakeholders. Stakeholders are those groups or individuals that can reasonably be expected to be significantly affected by an organization's activities, outputs, or outcomes. They can also be considered to be those whose actions can significantly affect the organization's ability to create value over time. King 4 emphasizes that organizations operate within a triple context: the economy, society, and the environment, and that the long-term success of an organization depends on how the organization balances these relationships. In practical terms, the management is expected to maintain ongoing relationships with key stakeholders, ensuring that stakeholder relationships are a recurring item on the board's agenda. For the Uganda Matters University, its internal stakeholders include the students, the staff members, and the founding body, the Catholic Church of Uganda. Its external stakeholders include the alumni, the regulators, and other universities, as well as the society. But how does stakeholder engagement look like in day-to-day practice? Professor Chamanywa's leadership offers an example in this respect. What follows is excerpts from our interview from Professor Chamanywa concerning stakeholder engagement at Uganda Matters University. Stakeholder engagement in practice. First, Professor Chamanywa shows that his engagement with stakeholders starts primarily through his management team. By engaging with his senior management team, he's able to get the pulse of the different stakeholders.
Now, addressing the competing interests is usually the real daily act that the Vice Chancellor keeps at all the time. As a Vice Chancellor, you normally have to work with the management team to ensure that the university runs as one unit. And as Vice Chancellor, I chair the senior management team of the university. So with that team, I'm able to delegate responsibilities to the different officers. And at every week's management meeting, I get feedback and reports from the different dockets. That way, I am able to address the core interests of the different stakeholders. So the students are represented, the staff are represented, the finance is represented, the academics are represented on that management team that sits every week.
Second, he mentions the nature of his engagement with the management team. It is frequent and there is an emphasis on deep listening and engagement with the affairs of the different stakeholders at the meetings with the senior management.
At my university, this happens every Tuesday morning, and we hear from the different areas. We've been able to allocate one Tuesday to one or two dockets so that we can get in-depth discussion. Previously, get reports from all people, but that would mean you couldn't dig any deeper. You would just be skimming things off the surface because everyone needed to find a moment to speak. So to be able to delve deeper, we decided that the 4 weeks in the month are distributed out. Every 2 dockets have at least a week to a day in the month when they can exhaust their presentation. So that way I'm able to keep my finger on the pulse.
He also mentions that there is engagement with representatives of other stakeholders besides the engagement with his senior management team. These include the regulators, the founding body, amongst others.
But also we do ensure that we relate with the different other stakeholders, like the alumni. We have the alumni liaison officer here at the university who keeps me up to date with what's happening with the alumni, but also takes on assignments from the management on how to address different aspects that arise with the alumni. The founding body and the council, we have regular meetings, like I've earlier said, which again helps us feedback on what we are planning and doing vis-a-vis their interests. And then we attend regular meetings of the other forums, the Vice Chancellor's Forum, the National Council for Higher Education Forum, the East African Community, through the Inter-University Council of East Africa. So by being able to relate with all these stakeholders, we are able to capture their different interests and also be able to address them.
In order to effectively engage with all stakeholders, he emphasizes the importance of reaching out to the stakeholders where they are. And here he refers to their respective geographical locations and not just reading reports about them.
A Vice Chancellor does not spend every day in the office at the table, because that way there is a lot you would miss. So a good Vice Chancellor, in my view, should not spend more than 50% of the week at the desk. you should be able to reach out to the other constituencies who can't come to your office, but are necessary for you to be able to keep in touch with. But this is also in addition to the fundraising, the networking and partnership building, plus the new learnings that you get when you compare notes with other vice chancellors in the different forums that we meet at. So that way we are able to take care of most of the stakeholders' interests and even anticipate other interests.
Students are a very important category of stakeholders for universities. I asked him if there are any special steps that he takes in order to engage with the students. And this is what he said.
On a regular basis, at least once every 6 weeks, I get to meet the student executive, the university union, students union with the president and his executive. But also there are many other opportunities, both formal and informal, that I get to interact with the different students. This university, we have 6 campuses, again spread across the country. And at least once every academic year, I visit each of the campuses. So you are able to get direct feedback from the students during those town hall meetings that we hold when we visit the different campuses. And regularly there is update on the emails, because we do have a student email portal where they are able to communicate whatever they are coming across, the good, the bad, and the ugly. As I always tell them to communicate, we need to communicate the good news, but also the not so good news and the other problems, so that we keep a balanced sheet, a balanced scorecard on these different aspects. So yes, there are opportunities, both formal and informal, and it has helped us a lot, because then the students are able to express themselves. They're able to, if it is something unpleasant, they're able to vent, and that has kept us in good working relationship with the student body.
Lessons learned and 5 pillars of effective stakeholder engagement. From the interview with Professor Chamanywa, we can discern at least 5 key lessons for effective stakeholder engagement. 1. Engage often. Keep the conversation with stakeholders regular and consistent. Secondly, listen deeply. Go beyond reports and truly understand the stakeholders' concerns. Third, stay connected. Use both formal meetings and informal conversations. Fourthly, go to them. Visit stakeholders where they are, not just from your office. And finally, act on feedback. Take visible steps to respond and build trust with your stakeholders. From this discussion, we can see that stakeholder engagement is very important for any organization that wants to build trust and succeed in the long term. Uganda Matters University gives a good example of how leadership presence, regular communication, and openness can strengthen relationships. In this particular interview, we have mainly seen engagement from the Vice Chancellor's side. But we don't yet know how students, staff, alumni, and the regulators themselves feel about the engagement of the management. A 360-degree review where feedback is collected from all the groups of the stakeholders would give a clearer picture of how effective the university's management stakeholder engagement really is. The example of the Uganda Matters University is really helpful. It shows that the starting point of effective stakeholder engagement is for leaders to be visible, to listen, and to communicate often with the stakeholders. Over time, these habits can grow into stronger systems that can help to build lasting trust amongst the stakeholders and accountability to them. If you're a board member, how can your board find out what stakeholders really think about the organization's engagement instead of hearing it only from the management? If you're a company secretary, what can you do to help your organization to collect honest feedback from all the different stakeholders like the staff, the customers, the regulators, and others, so that your board gets a full picture? Thank you for watching Corporate Governance Africa. Please subscribe to our website and to our YouTube and other social media channels. See you in the next video.